Happiness is not something that simply arrives at our doorstep. It's not a gift we wait for, nor is it a luxury only some people can afford. Happiness is a choice, a discipline, and sometimes, yes, a challenge. Every single day, we face moments that test our patience, our mood, and our mental peace. And in those moments, we have a decision to make. Will we let the world decide how we feel, or will we take control and choose to be happy? We often believe that happiness depends on circumstances. When we get that job, when we find that relationship, when we have more money. But the truth is, if you can't be happy in the small, ordinary days, you won't magically be happy when big moments arrive. You have to push yourself toward happiness, not wait for happiness to come to you. Happiness isn't pretending everything is perfect. It's finding the light even when it's cloudy. It's looking for reasons to smile, even in the middle of difficulties. It's training your mind to focus on the good instead of obsessing over the bad. And yes, that takes effort. It's a daily push. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Before checking your phone or thinking about your problems, take a few minutes to acknowledge the things you're grateful for, big or small. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already present, creating a foundation for a happier mindset. Not everyone and everything deserves a place in your head. Limit negative influences, whether it's toxic people, depressing news, or unnecessary drama. Protecting your mental space is like guarding the entrance to your happiness. The less negativity you let in, the more room you make for peace and joy. Every single day, make it a non-negotiable habit to do something, no matter how small, that genuinely makes you happy. It could be listening to music, taking a walk, reading a book, cooking your favorite meal, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Small daily joys build long-term happiness. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. When challenges or conflicts arise, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? Often choosing calmness over anger and understanding over frustration is what keeps your happiness intact. The people you spend time with directly influence your energy and mindset. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, inspire you, and make you feel good about yourself. Positive connections are fuel for happiness, while negative ones can drain it away. Happiness isn't about ignoring the bad. It's about noticing the good that exists alongside it. Make it a daily practice to look for beauty, kindness, and opportunities around you. When your mind learns to focus on positives, your heart learns to feel lighter, even in heavy times. If you'd like, I can also create a longer, expanded version of each key point with a strong closing plus title description, keywords, hashtags, and timestamps, like I've done for your past speeches. The way you begin your morning is like setting the foundation for a building. If the base is strong, everything else stands taller and steadier. In the same way, if you start your day with a strong mindset rooted in gratitude, it becomes much harder for negativity to shake you throughout the day. Most people open their eyes in the morning and immediately grab their phone. They check messages, emails, social media, or the news, and instantly, they allow external events to shape their mood before they've even fully woken up. Think about it. If the first thing you see is a stressful email or a negative headline, you've already handed over control of your emotions to the outside world. You've set your day on a reactive path instead of a proactive one. Gratitude flips that script. It's the conscious choice to focus on what's good before anything else can distract you. It's reminding yourself of the blessings you already have, rather than obsessing over what you still want. And the beauty of gratitude is that it doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It can be as simple as being thankful for the roof over your head, the food in your kitchen, the people who care about you, or even the fact that you woke up alive and breathing today. Starting your day with gratitude is more than just a feel-good habit, it's a mental workout. It strengthens your ability to notice the good even when life feels heavy. It's like training your brain to scan for light instead of darkness. Over time, this shift in focus rewires your perspective and helps you find joy more naturally, even in difficult moments. Place a notebook next to your bed. Each morning before checking your phone, write down 3 things you are grateful for. 4. They can be as big as I'm thankful for my family's health, or as small as I'm thankful for the sound of birds outside my window. The key is consistency. Doing this daily signals to your brain that gratitude is a priority. Instead of waking up to a harsh buzzing alarm, set your phone to play a song or sound that lifts your mood. Along with it, use a daily reminder that says something like, "What are 3 things you're grateful for today?" This small tweak makes you start your day with intention instead of rush. Before your feet even touch the floor, take a deep breath, close your eyes, and list a few things you appreciate. This short ritual takes less than a minute, but shifts your energy before you begin your day's tasks. Happiness grows when shared. Send a quick message to a friend, family member, or colleague, simply saying you appreciate them. You'll brighten their day and, in turn, boost your own mood. Gratitude has a ripple effect. It multiplies when it's given away. If you struggle to remember your gratitude practice, attach it to something you already do daily. For example, think of 3 things you're thankful for while brushing your teeth, making coffee, or commuting to work. This habit stacking technique ensures gratitude becomes a natural part of your morning flow. Why does this matter so much for happiness? Because our brains are wired with a negativity bias, a natural tendency to focus more on problems than blessings. It's an ancient survival instinct, but in the modern world, it means we often give more mental space to worries, fears, and frustrations than to moments of joy. Gratitude retrains your brain to balance that bias, so you start seeing the good alongside the bad instead of letting the bad dominate. When you begin your day with gratitude, small irritations don't hit you as hard. You find yourself less reactive, more patient, and more aware of life's small gifts. That morning traffic jam? Instead of losing your temper, you might use that time to listen to your favorite music or podcast. That unexpected problem at work? You handle it with more calm because your day started on a positive emotional baseline. Think of gratitude as emotional armor. It won't prevent challenges from coming your way, but it will make you more resilient when they do. It won't erase difficulties, but it will give you the clarity to see that even in the middle of a hard day, not everything is bad. There's always something good to hold on to, something worth noticing, appreciating, and protecting. Over time, this practice compounds. Just like daily exercise strengthens your body, daily gratitude strengthens your happiness muscle. At first, it might feel awkward or forced, especially if you're going through a tough season. But that's when it's most powerful, because it forces you to search for the light even when you feel surrounded by darkness. And every time you find that light, you make it easier to find again tomorrow. Your mind is your most valuable asset. It's where your thoughts are formed, where your decisions are made, and where your emotions take shape. But if you regularly remove what doesn't belong and plant seeds of positivity, encouragement, and growth, it becomes a place of peace. That's what protecting your mental space does. It ensures your inner world remains a place where happiness can grow, no matter what storms are happening outside. Life can get so busy, so demanding, and so noisy that we forget the simple truth. Happiness is often found in the little things. We tell ourselves that joy will come when we finally get that promotion, when we have more money, when we take that dream vacation. But the reality is, waiting for joy means we miss the hundreds of opportunities for happiness that exist in our everyday lives. That's why it's essential to make it a non-negotiable daily habit to do at least one thing that brings you genuine joy. This doesn't have to be something grand or time-consuming. In fact, it's often the smallest, simplest pleasures that have the biggest impact on our mood and mindset. It could be making your favorite cup of coffee in the morning and actually sitting down to enjoy it without rushing. It could be listening to your favorite music while you work. It could be taking a short walk outside and feeling the sun on your face. It could be reading a few pages of a book you love or calling someone who always makes you smile. The point isn't what you do. It's that you do it on purpose. Because when life gets overwhelming, joy doesn't just happen by accident. You have to create space for it. You have to protect those small moments and treat them as essential, not optional. Think of joy like oxygen. You can survive without it for a while, but you won't thrive. Too many people live in a constant state of doing, rushing, and stressing, telling themselves they'll relax later or enjoy life after the busy season is over. But here's the truth. There's always another busy season. If you keep postponing joy, you'll keep postponing your life. When you make joy a daily habit, you train your brain to recognize happiness even in ordinary moments. This is important because the mind naturally tends to focus on problems. It looks for what's wrong, what's missing, and what needs fixing. Doing something that brings you joy interrupts that pattern. It sends a signal to your brain. Life is not just about work and responsibility. It's also about living. The beauty of this practice is that it's personal. What brings one person joy might mean nothing to another. For some, it's creative expression, painting, writing, cooking, dancing. For others, it's physical movement, going to the gym, riding a bike, stretching. For some, it's social, spending time with friends, playing with their kids, or volunteering. The only requirement is that it genuinely lights you up inside, even if it's just for a few minutes. And here's something powerful. Those small moments of joy often have a ripple effect. When you start your day doing something you love, you carry that positive energy into everything else you do. When you take a short joy break in the middle of a stressful day, you reset your mood and improve your ability to handle challenges. When you end your day with something you enjoy, you go to sleep in a better state of mind, which impacts the quality of your rest and the tone of the next day. If you're thinking, but I don't have time, I want to challenge you. You have time for what you make time for. If you can spend 20 minutes scrolling through social media, you can spend 20 minutes doing something that genuinely makes you happy. If you can make time for meetings, chores, and deadlines, you can make time for yourself. Your joy is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You can make this habit even more powerful by planning your joy in advance. Just like you schedule appointments or tasks, schedule something fun every day, even if it's small. Write it in your calendar. Treat it as seriously as you would an important meeting. Over time, you'll start to notice that you look forward to these moments, and that anticipation alone boosts your happiness. Another tip is to practice being fully present during your joy moments. Don't half enjoy them while thinking about your to-do list. If you're having coffee, taste it. If you're on a walk, notice the colors of the sky. If you're talking to someone, really listen to them. True joy comes when you give your full attention to the moment instead of rushing through it. In the end, doing one thing that brings you joy every day isn't about escaping responsibilities. It's about making sure your life has balance. It's about remembering that you are a human being, not just a human doing. Your days are not meant to be a blur of tasks and stress. They're meant to be lived, felt and enjoyed, one small, joyful moment at a time. Life has a way of throwing surprises at us. Some good, some frustrating, and some that feel downright unfair. No? You can't control every event, every person's words, or every challenge that crosses your path. But there is one thing that will always remain in your control: your reaction. And that choice, how you respond in the moment, can shape your happiness more than the event itself. Most people live in reaction mode. Something bad happens and they immediately get angry. Someone says something rude and they snap back. A plan falls apart and they spiral into frustration. But when you live like this, you give away your power. You let external circumstances decide how you feel, think, and act. Choosing your reactions wisely is about reclaiming that power. It's about saying, I decide my mood, not my surroundings. This doesn't mean you have to ignore your emotions. It's natural to feel upset, disappointed, or hurt. But there's a difference between feeling an emotion and letting that emotion control your entire day. Think of your emotions like waves. They rise, they fall, but you don't have to drown in them. You can choose whether to surf the wave calmly or get swept away. One of the most valuable tools for choosing your reactions is the pause. When something triggers you, instead of reacting instantly, take a breath, count to 3, step away if you can. This tiny gap between stimulus and response is where your power lies. In that pause, you can ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will it matter in an hour? Will it matter in a week? Often you'll realize that it's not worth sacrificing your peace over. Another key part of wise reactions is perspective. Many of the things that upset us in the moment are not life-changing problems. They're inconveniences, misunderstandings, or situations beyond our control. Learning to zoom out and see the bigger picture helps you respond with calm instead of chaos. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you could spend the next 20 minutes fuming. Or you could shrug it off, remind yourself that you're still safe, and move on. Choosing your reactions wisely is also about emotional maturity. Heck, it's easy to react with anger or sarcasm, but it takes strength to respond with patience and understanding. It doesn't mean letting people walk over you. It means holding your ground without losing your composure. When you stay calm, you're not weak, you're in control. You refuse to let someone else's bad mood pull you into the same negative energy. And here's the thing, your reaction doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. If you lose your temper at work, it changes the atmosphere for your whole team. If you snap at a loved one, it can turn a small disagreement into a full-blown argument. But if you choose patience, you can turn tension into resolution. Your reaction can either be fuel for the fire or water that puts it out. Sometimes, choosing your reaction wisely means walking away. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to respond to every provocation. Silence is often more powerful than words, especially when the goal is to protect your peace. Another powerful practice is to respond, not react. Reacting is instant, emotional, and often unfiltered. Responding is thoughtful, intentional, and based on your values rather than your impulses. Before speaking or acting, ask yourself, is what I'm about to say or do going to improve this situation or make it worse? That simple question can save you from a lot of regret. When you master the art of choosing your reactions, you become less like a leaf blown around by the wind and more like a tree, rooted, steady, and unshaken, even when storms hit. You realize that while you can't control the world, you can control how you move through it. And that control is one of the greatest sources of everyday happiness. The people you spend time with shape you more than you realize. Your circle is like the soil you're planted in. If it's rich, supportive, and nourishing, you'll grow strong. If it's toxic, negative, and full of weeds, it will drain you and stunt your growth. Surrounding yourself with positivity isn't just about feeling good. It's about creating an environment where happiness can actually survive and thrive. Every interaction you have leaves an imprint on your mood and mindset. Think about it. When you spend time with someone who's optimistic, encouraging, and full of energy, you often leave feeling inspired. But if you spend time with someone who complains constantly, criticizes everything, and sees the worst in every situation, you'll likely feel heavy, tired, and drained afterward. This is because energy is contagious, both positive and negative.
Check.
Surrounding yourself with positivity doesn't mean you avoid people who are going through hard times. It means you're intentional about keeping company with people who lift you up rather than pull you down. These are people who celebrate your wins, support you through struggles, and remind you of your strengths when you forget them yourself. They're the ones who see potential where others see limits. The truth is, you become a reflection of the people you're around most. There's a well-known idea that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That means their habits, attitudes, and mindsets rub off on you, whether you want them to or not. If you're surrounded by people who are always negative, cynical, or unmotivated, it's only a matter of time before you start thinking and acting the same way. But if you're surrounded by people who are driven, grateful, and supportive, you'll naturally start adopting those traits yourself. Positivity in your circle doesn't always have to come from deep, life-changing conversations. Sometimes it's found in laughter, in shared experiences, in simple acts of kindness. It's in those friends who make you smile even on your worst days, the mentors who push you to aim higher, and the family members who remind you that you're loved, no matter what. To surround yourself with positivity, you have to be willing to make choices. And sometimes those choices are difficult. It might mean spending less time with certain people who constantly drain your energy, even if they've been in your life for years. It might mean saying no to social situations that leave you feeling worse instead of better. It might even mean creating physical or emotional distance from relationships that are toxic